Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for a presentation on child hunger in America. 16.2 million American children suffer from food insecurity in 2010, as reported by the USDA. This is unacceptable that in a country as developed and with the massive amount of food production as America, the children are still suffering from food insecurity. Children are going to bed hungry at night. They're not able to concentrate at school. Their bodies are not able to develop to their maximum potential, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, due to a lack of nutrition. Research suggests that child hunger in America is increasing daily. This is due to a low awareness among fellow Americans and also the American current economic condition. Let's further research and let's look at the low awareness among fellow Americans. Now, it is common to turn your television on or go to an event and hear international child sponsorship being talked about by child advocates. However, there are many organizations such as World Vision, Children International, Compassion, and Global Ministries that all sponsor children. World Vision sponsors children in 38 countries, Children International 10, Compassion 26 countries, and Global Ministries 83 countries. However, America is not a country that you are allowed to choose to sponsor a child. When I began this research, I first started searching online and I typed in child hunger. What pulled up were many sites that sponsor children internationally. It was necessary to advance my search to include America in the title in order for me to finally come up with results. Now, it is not common knowledge that, as reported by the USDA, that 16.2 million American children suffer from food insecurity in America in 2010. We generally stick to our own neighborhoods. We don't venture out into the community, into areas that are not like ours. This causes us to not see those that are in need. We believe or have the feeling that if we're able to provide for our own family, that all others should be able to too. We feel like they're given the same opportunity and that they should also be able to provide for their own family as well. Now, that leads me to the second point of research, and that is America's current critical economic state. Now, it is common knowledge that over the last 5 years, our economy has been suffering and struggling. From 2007 to June of 2009, America suffered from the longest recession since the Great Depression. Unemployment, it is at an all-time high, and it's affecting all social economical classes. The recession claims to be over, but however, the Brookings Institution in 2012 advises that although there is job growth and gain, it is happening at a very slow rate. And 24/7 Wall Street reported in 2011 that they believe and fear that we could be experiencing another economic downfall very soon. Now, let's look at our visual aid. It shows us how America's economy affects child food insecurity. In comparison, we have the unemployment rates from 2002 to 2012, along with the child food insecurity rates. What you will see is that the two lines representing percentages, you'll see how greatly their correlation represents one another. You'll see that as unemployment rates are high, child food insecurity rates also rise. Now, this information was obtained this year in 2012. It was provided, and the unemployment rates, they were provided through the United States Department of Labor, and the child food insecurity rates were supplied from the USDA. Now, it's important to note that when an individual is unemployed, it means that they are seeking work and that they are ready and available for work upon receiving a job. Now, there's evidence that low job wages are affecting working families' income budget and their ability to provide adequate amount of food, nutritional food for their children. USDA's Mark Nord reported that recent research by the agency found that most families suffering from food insecurity do have at least one working individual in the household. Now, these families' budgets are tighter than ever. They're trying their best to provide for their children. However, with increasingly high bills such as medical bills, a high mortgage, rent payment, or anything from increasing gas prices and food prices, it just makes it really hard and tough to also provide an adequate amount of nutritional food for their children. Food prices alone increased 13% in November of 2011, and that was reported on an ABC News special. Now, these families started to depend on their local food banks. They were just, using them if necessary for that month to help them get by. However, they have now begun to depend on them as a necessity. I hope what you learned today is that research does suggest the child hunger in America is increasing daily, and it's due to low awareness among fellow Americans and also the current economic crisis that America is going through. I hope your awareness for the severity of child hunger in America and its continuous growth, I hope it's increased. I hope that you have developed a desire to help with your local community's program so that together we can help try to end child hunger in America. Thank you. And if there's anybody among us today that may have a question, I would be happy to answer that now for you.
What are the largest federal food and nutrition assistance programs, and are children still going hungry after their families are receiving assistance from these programs?
Okay, thank you for that question. There are many programs, at least 11 programs that the federal government provides for people that are in need. And the three largest programs are the SNAP, which stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. There's the WIC program, which is Women, Infant, and Children. And then there's also the National School Lunch Program. Now, these programs do assist qualifying families and help supplement nutritional needs. However, research has proven that families receiving aid from one or more of these three mentioned programs do still struggle with food insecurity. And a survey that was conducted in 2010 by the USDA showed that 59% of food insecure households and 56% of very low food insecure households that all received, one or two more of these aids still suffered from food insecurity. Now, if there's another question.
How many children live in food insecure households that their family's income falls above the poverty line guidelines of qualifying for federal aid programs?
Well, ABC News reported on this in 2011, and they found that 4 million children live in food insecure homes that are not eligible to receive any of these programs or these aids that we just discussed. And their family's income is just above the poverty limit. And these families can turn to the local food bank, though. That's why it's so important that we do help to support them. Thank you so much for your time.